Today, we are going to talk about Canva and whether it's worth the investment to purchase Canva and versus just using the free version of Canva, which is pretty amazing. I'm Maggie Carey from Master It Media. I elevate brands by developing an engaging social media presence so they can build an audience of raving fans. And one of our favorite tools is Canva. And Canva is a graphic design tool that you can use to help you design, among other things, social media graphics that are engaging and entertaining for your audience. Now, with Canva, there are a variety of things that you can do with the free version. Now, if you go to the Canva pricing, you can see there are three different types. There's a free version, there's a pro version, and there is Canva for teams. Now, I'm just going to be talking about the free versus the pro, and what you may be looking at this number and saying, wow, that's a big chunk, right? But if you compare the features, you're getting so much more, and more than just that's outlined here. Now, with Canva, there are a couple of new features that have come out. So I want you to stay to the end, and I'll share with you a couple of those features that are offered with the paid version that you cannot get with the free version. Now, with the free version of Canva, you get a variety of templates, and you get over you can see here as I scroll down, there's some inspiration. You can go by topic up here, and what you get in that is 250,000 free templates. However, with the paid version, you get over 420,000. So almost double of what you got. Now, the free version, now I'm just going to go into create, and for today, I'm just going to pick an Instagram square post to share with you. And as you can see in here, if I click at there's templates, I can see what's recently used, all results, and you can see anything that has this crown is a pro version. And a lot of times you're going to see that what you want is going to be in the pro version. So, but there's plenty of things in the free version. You have to decide how much work you want to do. Now, something like this, I'm going to click on this. You can see it's a lot different. There's all of these extra things that are added, these little icons. Now, you could certainly create this on your own, but do you really want to go through the drama of doing that? Now, the other thing is photos. Now, with photos, you get over 200,000 free photos. That's great until you start doing a search. And I'll tell you why. Because if you start searching for something that is very specific, like I'm going to put in purple flowers. Okay, and I can see there's a whole bunch of purple flowers, right? And they're great. Every once in a while, you're going to get this pro version. But if I'm looking for smiling business people, okay, now notice almost everything is pro, right? There's hardly anything that's free. So you really need to be looking at the fact that, yeah, you get 71 million free photos versus 200,000 free photos in the free version. So again, paid version prevents you from having to go to Pexels and Pixabay and a whole bunch of other tools that are fantastic, but why go to another product when I can just save time and do it here? Now, another thing are graphic elements. These elements, and you can see here on the left, I'm just going to add another page so we can play here. elements are these things that we can add to our Canva. And you can see here, there are lines and shapes, and most of these are free. So this is cool, right? And you can see as I scroll through, there's a lot that's there, right? Um, there's stickers that you can add. So you can add some animation to that. Again, you look for the crown for the paid version, and you can see here in graphics, pro, right? These little things are pro versions. There's also video and audio, and charts and tables, frames, for example, here in frames. And you can see in frames, this is pretty cool. Like you can do some things with this, and there's a lot for free. But again, there's more things that you'll start noticing that are in the paid version only. Um, I love these little groups that they've added, these little graphic groups. So stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing a bunch of these little things that are kind of hidden in Canva. So take this, for example, if you're doing Earth Day, this is something perfect to add like in a section, and they all kind of go together. So these kind of groupings that Canva has. Now, getting back to our paid versus free, we talked about like templates here, and I'm just going to add this as a pro one. And you can see these little things like the light bulb and the computer. Those are all elements that get added. So when you're looking at Canva and those elements, there's 57,000 that are free, but there's 4.5 million in the paid version. And now I briefly touched on video here when we were talking. Now, video is another thing. And look, video is killing it in social. Um, as I mentioned, there was another thing that I'll be sharing in just a sec, but here in the video, like look at all these beautiful things you can search. But if you're looking for something like um, women typing on computer. Right now, when I do searches, you're seeing again pro. Now, here's one that's not, but look at the difference in quality between something like this and something like the paid version, like that, right? It's a different quality that you're getting. The better the video, the more you're going to get. Now, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to be sharing something about the fact, one big thing about um, free versus paid on this one. Now, so that's video. The other thing that's kind of fun, and I'm going to just delete these here. Let's talk about text and font. Now, when you're looking at text on your um, brand kit or on your regular, just clicking on text and adding, for example, here a header. I'm going to highlight that text, and you can see here I've got my brand font, but also there are a bunch of other fonts that you can't use if you don't have the paid version, and those are identified with that little crown, keeping in mind that when you do something like that, and you can see there's a bunch of free ones, free, there's a ton of free, and then but when you get into the fancier fonts, like let's type, let's just do the calligraphy ones. When you get into these, you're going to start seeing that these are much more, give you much more variety. So the other cool thing with the paid version with fonts is that I can upload my own font. Like if I have a specific font that isn't in the hundreds of fonts that Canva has, you can do that. So with the free fonts, you get over 1,700 free fonts, which is great. With the paid version, you get over 3,000. So that's another thing. Now, of course, we mentioned video. We were talking video before, and I mentioned how you can add these paid versions. You're doing video is becoming so prominent, but Also, you can add sound to your video. So if you don't see it on the side, like sometimes you will see it in elements, you'll see audio, see video, and then audio. You can find it there. If you don't see it on the side here, you can click more and then you select audio. And again, here, see pro version, pro version, pro version, right? Like this one is not pro, but it doesn't really go with what I'm talking about. So a lot of audio is available. Now, there's not much in audio for the free version. We heard it's circling around 100, but with the audio tracks on Canva Pro, you get over 25,000. Um, Now, animated effects is another thing we talk about and it's so cool. I'm just going to pull up a template here so you can see what I mean. Animating, turning your graphics into video is where people are pushing, right? So when we look at something like this, it's a great graphic. But if I click on this and I go into animate, they have added something new on Canva. This simple, sleek combinations, these combinations of things. Like if I had to do that individually, that would have taken me like 10 minutes. It took me a second, less than a second to click on it. And I can pick these different combinations that animate. And now this is really cool when you're talking about taking a simple graphic and turning it into a video. You know, now I could also go in again, look at all these video elements here I'm sorry, animations, page animations that are here. Okay. There are more when you have a let's just go into animate here. If I want to do it individually, right? I click here, I click animate, right? This is text animation. And as you can see here, there's a ton that are available here. And I can change that up like I just changed that one thing. But notice, see here in intensity, that's a pro feature. So when you get into them, there's some things that are, and I'm just popping in. You can see here word style, direction, speed. These deep dives into these animations are only available on the paid version. Um, and as we've been talking, these animation effects are becoming more and more because they're turning a static graphic into a video graphic. um, with things like folders, let's go into another benefit of having a paid version. You can create these folders, and with folders, that helps you organize your data. Depending on how much you're going to do, now you can do two free folders with the free version, or you could have unlimited folders with the paid version. One of the things that I really, really love is the brand kit. And we actually did a video on how to create a brand kit. So make sure that you click that little I button up on the top that comes up so that you can see how that works. And in here, you can see this has all my logos and businesses and photos and backgrounds that I've used, right? So when you go into creating a design, the brand kit is there for you to use, and you can have multiple brand kits when you have the paid version. Um, and where that's evident is, I'm just going to go in here into background color, and you can see here's my brand kit, right? I also have a couple of other ones that I've used that I like the color schemes of. And you can add more, you can edit them, and so on. You can put your logos in there. You've got so much more you can do. So make sure that you check out that video I mentioned, and you should be good to go with that. Um, the brand kits are really, really cool. One of the features, and I've been teasing this throughout this video, is new, is something called removing a background. Now you can see here, this is pretty cool, but maybe I don't want this background. This is the wrong city. This is whatever. I can click on this video, edit video, and remove the background of a video. Now we've been able to do that with photos fairly easily. I mean, that's how we create our thumbnails, by having a photo and then removing the background. But doing this with the video is insane. Now, this did take me probably about 3 minutes to do, so I didn't want to waste our time here. But if you look, this is what it did. And it removed that background. So now I can go in and I can create, click another background. Oh, sorry about that. So I have to, this is a good thing. I've got to detach the video from the background. And then, now I've got this. I can do this. I can put her into space. I can pick, one of the things I love to do here is go back into video, and there's a background here. So I can add, add that background here, to her, and pick out different things that may, that I may like better, for her background. Now, for me, we're about social, so it could be this kind of a look. It's a little busy, frankly, but that gives you kind of like a feel for what you can do with with Canva's paid version. Now, remember, with Master It Media, if you go into this link that we'll share, it'll also be in the chat below. This bit.ly, bit.ly/MIM Canva. You'll be able to make sure it's case sensitive, so make sure you put it in, or just click the link below. This will give you access to try the paid version for free and give you that demo. Of course, we're at Master It Media. We provide a lot of tips and advice on how to use Canva, and other social media. You can go to Instagram, you can go to YouTube, where we have tons of videos on that. Check out our painlessposting.com. This also gives you the opportunity to create your posts in less than 5 minutes a day. And we also use Canva in that tool. What I find to be really intriguing with Canva is the fact that you don't have to be a graphic designer in order to create your posts. You can go in, you can add your text, you can add graphic elements, you can add your picture. Here's something fun that, to kind of take something like this and add some personality to it. Start with a template, then go into elements and select a frame. So I'm just gonna and use these like kind of sidebar things, right, to the little circles, and then go into your photos. I mean, I keep my photos separate. Like, these are my cheesy photos that I use for different things, but I also have my headshots and things like that. And I can add that in, and it gives. I've now taken that kind of basic thing and made it, more personalized, right? Like this basic template. These templates are really great. You just have to be aware of when you move your mouse over them, you can see there's that purple outline, right? That's what you're selecting. That's what you're going to affect. So what you select is what you affect. Um, Look at video, look at this video feature. Even if you don't want to remove the background, this is a great way for you to take advantage of everything that Canva has to offer. As I mentioned, the free version of Canva is very, very powerful. You can have like brand kits, for example. You can have a brand kit with 3 colors. That's great. But when you have the pro version, you have no limitation on the color palette. You can upload your own fonts and your logos, and you can have a much better branding kit. You can have multiple branding kits. So there's tons that you can do. You can invite your team to it. The one feature that I love, 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 and this was where, I mentioned this resize, right? Now, you know how much, now I'm just gonna put in Reels here, how much Reels and TikTok are exploding. I can take this video just like this, and maybe all my little texts and whatever else I add to it, and just resize it, and it automatically resizes it to the proper orientation, right? And when you click on it, you can click crop, even though you're technically not cropping it. Crop will allow you to kind of edge to move things. So maybe you want less of the coffee cup and more of her shoulder, right? That kind of doesn't look as great because we kind of lose her. So you can play with these a little bit and crop it back. It's going to try to give you the best orientation. So this is really neat. Don't forget, you can always add a page. So you want to add something else, you can go in, grab another video, search your video. For example, I want to have social. Oh, well, maybe I want this social media thing here. And this is where you can really play with stuff. Like I want to overlay a square on here, and I want to give it a little center thing here, right? And you're overlaying this over the video, so it allows you to kind of keep the video in the background, right? And I can also affect the transparency. So I'm just going to click on my little three dots and click on the transparency and kind of lighten that a little bit. So the text that'll be on here may be a little bit easier to read because we're putting things on like that. And and this is where playing with your video will really help, and not having to limit yourself on things like, well, I don't have the paid version, so I can't do this or I can't do that, right? So, um, having things like that magic resize will help. Um, Doing transparencies on images you will help. In addition, there are things like if I wanted to share this on um, on my socials, I can share it without having to pay um, for it. I could just share one at a time. But if I want to schedule it, if I want to schedule this to post at a later time, I can only do that with the paid version. I can't do that with the free version. So on top of all of these other um, tools, you're getting these designer tools as well. Uploading your own font, you get priority support, you get to do things like unlimited folders and design with teams. Um, really take a hard look at, my mother used to say, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Don't spend hours and hours and hours doing something that you can do in minutes or seconds with a paid version. It's going to be worth that price, the additional money to do it. So take a look at Canva. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave them in the chat below. And as always, here at Master It Media, we're here to help you take the commotion out of your promotion. Have a banner day, and we hope to see you next Monday at 2 o'clock for Master It Monday.